Hello, and welcome to another episode of the So Here For It podcast. My name is Amy Mingan, and today I'm going to be talking about some woo-woo things that I have done in business that have totally worked out for me. I hope that by the end of today's episode, you start to incorporate some of these woo-woo things, regardless of your belief, regardless of your faith, regardless of whatever's going on, because at the end of the day, if you try something, you're going to get something on the other side. Doesn't matter what your belief is in it. You will 100% get something out of it. So let me get started. You know, in the beginning, I used to look at spiritual stuff as like, if I didn't get it right, then it wouldn't work. And I think that's a lot like business, that in business, we think that we have to learn from someone who has done it before or done it their own way or has the framework, because we've just got to know how to do it, because then we'll be able to do it, right? But I don't actually think that it works that way. I think woo-woo is one of those things that once you start incorporating it, it helps to become a daily habit. It helps to change who you are becoming because you are doing better habits. Like, it's literally, you're bettering yourself. I'm going to say that because I think a lot of people get stuck because they forget that they can take a risk. I think that a lot of people, they go round and round in circles because they're thinking about what they want, and then they feel something, but then that kind of makes them get stuck. And it's not your fault. If you don't have the strategy in order to exit that thought feeling pattern, you're going to continue looping. And that's why a lot of people will have really great ideas, but they've got nothing to show for it because they haven't taken any action on it. Whereas I think that woo-woo actually is an action. And it could be something as simple as just saying out loud, okay, today is going to be a great day. That's not that woo-woo. But you're literally setting an intention for the day. Now, that's going to give you far better outcome than if you just focused on what you don't have. Like, if you were to open up your computer and you saw your calendar was almost full, but you really desired it to be full. Here's something that I used to always do, and it always worked out for me. So that's why I'm sharing it. I would open up my calendar, or I'd imagine it, and I'd relax, and I'd say, universe, I am calling in that particular spot right there. Let's say it's a 2 p.m. Wednesday. That 2 p.m. Wednesday is going to be filled by the end of today. I am so grateful that I'm filling that spot, and I'm excited to work with that person. And I kid you not, it always filled, always. Now, the other thing you can do alongside this, because I think this is just as important. A lot of people are afraid to focus on money, focus on numbers. And I know you didn't get in this just to make money. I know, but it does actually help bring you freedom, and it helps bring you choice in your life. And that's why I like to talk about it. I think that anyone who's in business, you need to be making profit in order for it to be worth it. And you're not just in it for the profit. I know that. You're in it because you want to help people. You want to change people's lives. Me too. I'm obsessed with transformation. I'm obsessed with people upgrading themselves and choosing their new identity and becoming something new. That is my absolute favorite thing. But a lot of the time they can't do that if they're not making the money, and they can't make the money if they're not taking the risk. And if they don't take the risk and actually make a choice to do something and take action on it, like set an intention, like choosing to put themselves out there, like being specific about a number that they want to make in their bank account. Do you see where I'm going with this? This has absolutely changed the trajectory for me more than anything. And it's simply writing down a number at the start of the week. I always do it with pen and paper. So maybe get a very fresh notebook. That would probably be good. And that might be your money notebook. And what you focus on, you attract more of. So this works in a gratitude way. This works in a people way. This works in a nature way. This works in a money way. So think about it this way. If you say, all right, I know a lot of people who I work with early on, when they're early on, they want $1,000 a week. So say that's your number. But if you've been in business for a while, you might want more like $5,000 or $7,000 a week. That's totally doable as well. It just depends what you've got set up inside your business and what you have capacity for. Of course, whatever number that you choose is exactly the right number. Do not compare your number to anybody else's, but I want you to write that number at the start of the week. So let's say you've chosen 1,555. just making this up right this minute. I've just tuned into someone. Her number is 1,555. Write it on that page. This is my weekly intentional amount that I would love in my bank account. Cash received. Thank you. Then you just shut the book, leave it alone. But what I want you to do is actually notice when money is showing up for you. So every single time you get paid, get excited about it. Don't be like, ooh, that's not enough. If you find 5 cents, yes. If somebody pays for your coffee, yes. If somebody gives you something that's worth something, say thank yous. Be grateful for it and notice where it's showing up for you. Because I think growing up in Australia, we are already fairly privileged. Almost everyone I know, and I would go as far to say everyone I know, has a roof over their head. Even though it is really expensive to live in Australia, I hear you, but we are very privileged to have been born here with such a high standard of living. So just noticing around you right this minute, how many amazing things you already have in your life. And just, you could list all those things down. This is woo-woo, by the way. Being grateful is a form of woo-woo. Why? Because you're actually noticing. The more things you notice, the more things you notice. The more things you notice, the more you will attract more things to notice. You can see where I'm going with all of this, and you can do this in every way, shape, and form. Actually, some of my clients who I've worked with in a life coaching sense, who I help with their relationships, saved many marriages. Do you want to know how? Instead of them complaining about all the things that their spouse doesn't do, notice where they were grateful. Notice what they did like about their spouse. And then all of a sudden, their vibration changed. All of a sudden, the relationship changed, and all of a sudden they were getting along again. It didn't happen without uncomfortable conversations though. And the same thing with money, the same thing with your clients. If you want more clients, you're going to have to start putting it out there that that's what you want. So if you're not showing up on your social media and sharing a really simple booking link, how do they know how to book in with you? We can't assume anything, but what you do have control of and what you have the most influence on is yourself. Now, this is a very NLP thing to say. There's 8 billion people in the world, right? But instead of that frame of reference, I like to think of it as there's 8 billion worlds and one person. Now, hear me out. That's because each person has their both perception of reality, but also their projection on reality. So based on whatever your values and beliefs and experiences and expertise and traumas and amazing memories and the way you were loved and the way you wanted to be loved, and all those different things are always playing out in your subconscious. Now, you're going to bring every single one of those into every single situation that you're part of. Regardless of whether you think you are or you're not, you are. And so that is your perceived reality. Now think about you're going in and you're having a very successful person lunch, and you're sitting at this table and you're so uncomfortable because you're like, oh my God, they're talking about stuff I don't know. Oh, they're so much further along than me, blah, 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 blah. That's what your brain's saying, right? But actually, it's giving you a snapshot into a particular reality that you had called in. Otherwise, you would not be there. So what is the other thing that I think you need to know here? We very obviously can attract things in, but we've got to notice them. We have to notice what we are attracting in. And if you're not happy with what you're attracting, it is time for you to get very intentional every single day. And if you don't know what to set as your intention, it's probably because you don't know what you want. And if you don't know what you want, you need to start to learn to relax. You need to clear away some of the debris. You need to get your vessel ready. So if you're overthinking, if you feel really tense in your body, go do some yoga, go do some meditation, go for a run, whatever you need to do to move your body so you can shift whatever's blocking you being able to figure out what you want. Do writing every single day. I absolutely love writing. It gives me so much clarity, particularly if there's any mental chatter going on. It's amazing what you will get by writing things down. All of a sudden, the things that were overwhelming you in your mind, all of a sudden they're on a piece of paper. Guess what? Instead of it swirling around in here, you have it there and you have this objective view. It is so much more powerful. What is that going to get you? You can literally change what you're writing on the page. And what does that do? It's like writing a script. So you think about it. You could do it in present tense. You can do it in future tense. And you can even forgive yourself for what happened in the past. Because I know of a lot of people, and I guess sometimes myself included, you might be remembering things from the past and that's holding you back from taking a step forward. You might be like, oh my God, I got so embarrassed that one time when I said that thing. So that I couldn't possibly record something, or I couldn't possibly do this thing because I got laughed at and blah, blah, blah. But you know what? That was in the past. You are here now. And isn't it worthwhile giving it a red hot go? Like, you literally have this one body, this one mind, and you have this entire reality to be the main character and to take a risk and to learn something and then to go again. Like, we are so privileged to be able to do that. Like, how grateful I am that I get to talk to you right now. I get to be in your ears, or you get to watch me if you're watching the video version of this, and we get to spend time together. And that's really amazing. And I'm so grateful that you're listening right now, because I know that by the end of this, you are going to have at least a few ideas of what you want. And then you're going to, from that, start taking action on those ideas. Because when people say that they're sitting there and they're meditating and they're like, they're coherent in mind, body, and soul, that's great. But that doesn't do anything unless you go and do something. So I want you to be doing both. There's both the passive and the active version of manifestation. And I really hope that you really understand me by the time we get to the end of this, that you go, this is what I've actually been focusing on. All right. That's why I keep getting that result. Now, how can I change what I'm focusing on to something slightly more beneficial, because that's the path that I want to go on? You focus on that path and stop getting distracted. Like, I was talking with a friend this morning and we were talking about how distracting our phones can be and how addictive they can be. And imagine just putting your phone down. You might brick your phone. I've seen like some clients who used to work with me who are now using the brick. I'm like, oh my God, they are showing up so much more because they just brick their phone and they actually get the thing done that's on their list. Like, there's so many simple resources available to you. Again, you're not going to get anywhere unless you start showing action. You're not going to get anywhere unless you take a risk, and it's going to feel risky on your heart. You might feel embarrassed. You might feel scared, but that's part of it. You're going to learn something on the other side, and then you're going to be able to go, oh, okay, that one really paid off. Or, sometimes some of the most exhausting and debilitating things I've ever done in my life have been some of the best. And I go as far to say, like, where I've struggled, I have actually learned so much. And where I have completely emptied myself because I've tried so hard, or I've hustled so hard, or, I've shown up so much for somebody else that I had felt burnt out, I learned so much from that. And it helped shape the person who I am today. It helped me have better boundaries. Like, I don't think anyone's ever met me and said, oh, Amy, your boundaries are so bad. Like, my boundaries are so good. And you'll always know where you stand with me because I'm so direct and transparent. That's what people love about me. It's just like, oh, you are who you say you are. You're no different talking to me here online to what you are in real life. Why would I be? I just wonder, like, why would someone be different in real life? I don't get why you would be a different character online to what you would be in front of someone. Like, probably what you would get differently in person is you would realize I'm even funnier in real person. You would realize I'm funnier in real life, and I'm quite animated. And I suppose the screen doesn't always show that sort of stuff. But anyway, I digress. More woo-woo things. If you want to, if you're open to it, you can use things like flower essences. You can use sage. You can clear your energy. But visualization is one of my biggest tools that I teach my clients. You have to connect with it though. So what I mean by this is you can think up a million different ideas, whatever the thing is that you want. And you can picture that in your mind. But if you've only got the picture and you don't have any sort of feeling, you're only conceptualizing it. You've got to take it out of the conceptualization and into the actual body, because the body actually drives most of the manifesting. Because what happens? We feel something and the feeling is more potent of a vibration than what the thought is. The thought does count, of course, but the feeling is far more potent, particularly if you can feel it in your heart. You feel open-hearted about something and it can manifest very quickly. So, how do you get out of scarcity and more into abundance? It's by these sorts of practices. Number one, if you're feeling tense or stressed or scarce or anything like that, ask yourself this question: what am I currently focusing on? If I continue focusing on this, will it give me what I want? If the answer is no, then stop. Change it up. Do something physical, because that's enough to wipe the slate clean for the body, or do something with your mind. But I actually think most people who listen to me are like me, and we need to go and do something physical. Go for a walk, go in nature, do yoga, go for a run, lift some weights, anything like that. Really, really good for you. Don't make any decisions while you're in scarcity. Not a good time to make a decision, okay? Get yourself out of scarcity and into neutrality. Neutrality feels like nothing is necessarily like swaying you one way or another. You feel quite centered and you feel quite present. That's how you can tell when you're neutral to something, when you're neutral to life. That's a really good time to make a decision. Also, equally, if you're super excited about something, probably not the best time to make a decision. Particularly if you're feeling quite emotional, your body feels scared in that position. Excitement and fear are very, very closely related. So my suggestion is, again, calm that down. Once you've calmed down, then make the decision. Now, the decision could be something like recording a podcast. It could be sending an email to a brand. It could be reaching out to that client who needs to rebook. There's so many different ways that you could do this, right? But I want you to do the hard thing first. I want you to make the decision based on who you're becoming, because that is the most woo-woo thing and most abstract thing that I can tell you right now. Because if you are making a decision on behalf of something that does not yet exist, you kind of go, but that's a good thing because you're becoming that. So you need to kind of meet yourself. This is why visualization is helpful. This is why the feeling is helpful. If I was already the version who was XYZ, let's say the person who was making that 1,555, that person who wanted that, if you're already her, what is she doing every day? And start doing that. Change the number for whatever it is that you want. Like for me, I want to start buying businesses, right? I'm buying boring businesses, not the ones that I have to run, but I'm buying other people's businesses that already run, right? Who is the person who does that? I'm becoming her. That is a really different version to the person who used to purely just run a naturopath clinic. That's really different to the person who used to speak on stage for a living. That's really different to the person who was running business coaching groups. Could I still do all of that? Absolutely. That's all still part of my identity, but it's whatever you're doing, the actions that you're doing right now is building a new identity. And if anything, it's the identity that's front and center that all the spotlights are on. So have a think about it. This one, it doesn't need to be permanent either. You get to try on different versions of yourself, and it doesn't mean that you have to do this forever. Our parents were probably the generation that thought they had to do the one thing forever. And I just simply can't. I'm not that sort of person. I'm not someone who will just do the one thing forever. So when people say, oh, you change your mind. Oh, you changed another thing. Oh, you've changed again. I'm like, good. I take that as a huge compliment. I'm interested in a lot of things is how I see that. I'm interested. I follow what I'm interested in. People are like, oh, wow, they get influenced by what I'm interested in. Often I have an offer for them. So I love learning and I love teaching, and that's how things happen. So if you take anything from this, I want you to start noticing, what are your daily habits? You are what you consistently do in every way, shape, and form. Do a little audit on yourself and then figure out the person who you're becoming if you stay like that. But if you want to change, people like me exist, and I invite you in. If you want to come to see my masterclass, I have that running on the 29th of July. It's called Magnetic and Booked, and it is specific for women in service-based industries. Come on in and have a look what I'm about. I'll spend an hour with you. We'll talk about all of the different ways that I help you build a really strong foundational business so that you can go and do it yourself. But also, if you want to just skip to the good part, you can go to the link down below. You can join Woman of Value and get a month free and jump in straight away. I have both group and VIP versions. The VIP version has one-on-ones included. Highly recommend that if you're up to the stage that's beyond the startup, because you'll just move so much faster. So that's all I've got for you today. Thank you so much for joining me. It has been a pleasure. I could talk about woo-woo all day, but I felt that was the most important part. If you have a friend who needs to hear this, please send it through to them, and I will see you on the next episode.